Greetings, Grantham. This is Bryant. I'd like to talk to you about the assignment for week 7. As a young sailor, I had just gotten qualified as quartermaster of watch to stand watch up on the bridge of the ship by myself. So my first watch, we were sailing through the English Channel. And as a junior sailor, for the very first time, sailing at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, you have shipping in the English Channel passing your port and starboard side, traffic cutting your stern, your bow, and everything. So I happened to be on watch with several other people on the bridge, and one of the watchstanders was this chief petty officer named Chief Edwards, STGC Edwards. And his wife had mailed him a package of Girl Scout cookies. This is about 1992, so mail back then was considered to be snail mail. So you only got packages, maybe once or twice a month back then. And you just read a bunch of old letters. So Chief Edwards was a beautiful guy, a gentle bear basically. So that night, as we took the watch, he had these Girl Scout cookies. And as I stated before, this was my first watch ever by myself. So Chief Edwards had his Girl Scout cookies, and he kept laying them out on my workstation, which is called the chart table. So when you're in real tight quarters or navigating ships within real tight quarters, you're required to take fixes between every 3 to 15 minutes, depending on the proximity of land towards the naval vessel. Just the way the Navy does it. Their standard operating procedures. So pretty much the majority of the night or the watch, I had been begging Chief Edwards to, Chief, could you please keep your cookies over here? Chief, could you please keep your cookies out of the way? Chief, your cookies are all over my station. Because every time I'd have to go out and take a fix. So I'm doing about 5-minute fixes. So I'm running out from the bridge to the port bridge wing to the starboard bridge wing, coming back in, doing radar fixes. And at that time, GPS wasn't the modern technology. Back then, we used like Omega and SatNav and stuff like that. And you had to interpolate in between and use a calculator and calculate it all down, then put it down. So by the time you finish your fix, it was roughly about 2 to 3 minutes worth of information that it took you to put down. So because Chief Edwards, I had reached a boiling point finally, and Chief Edwards refused to assist me with keeping his Girl Scout cookies out of the way, and he kind of like, he was like, well, what are you going to do if I don't move them? And I said, well, Chief, I'll just throw them over the fucking side. I'm asking you nicely to please, help me, keep the workstation clean. You see I'm stressing out, and this is my first watch by myself. And he's like, well, I'll put my Girl Scout cookies wherever I want to. I said, okay, Chief, no problem. No problem. I said, let them be in my way again. And if they're in my way again, I'm throwing them the fuck over the side. So I went back out, started doing my thing, doing my job again, doing my routine, taking visual fixes and stuff like that, radar fixes, port, starboard, bridge wing, run back in. Chief Edwards has his cookies there. Now I feel he's tried me. He's trying to call my bluff. I run over to the starboard bridge wing and I grab the door by the handle, slam it open, and I just throw the Girl Scout cookies out into the middle of the ocean. And I said, now, you want your fucking Girl Scout cookies? Go get them. So he got pretty upset with me, and he threatened to write me up and send me the captain's mast for that. And it was pretty comical. Basically, talking about my basic emotions and stuff like that, or my instinctual emotions. My instinctual emotions were because I knew his wife had sent him the package, and he was willing to share with everyone that, I feel like I was trying to initially do the right thing by placing his cookies out of the way, so he can enjoy them and we can enjoy them as a group. But at the same time, I can still do my job without being impeded by, any further obstructions and stuff like that. Because having a chart or navigating a ship, you have a lot of publications and manuals on your workstations and stuff like that, because you have to go through and find information and stuff, because a lot of information is not like knowledgeable at the given moment. So the chart table is already cluttered, and you have, several people around you, and you're like, man, can you back up, give me some room or something like that, and everything. So you're it's claustrophobic. My social interaction, something that I had learned from being in the Navy and knowing that people are always in, like, depending on your position and what job you're doing, you kind of have like authority over everybody, even though they may be senior to you, because you're responsible for the safety of the ship, safety of individuals and stuff. And as a junior sailor then, I was just an E4. So as a junior sailor, I had seen all these well, they were senior to me, but then junior to some of the other people, within the Navy, whether they be officers or enlisted, chief petty officers and stuff like that, or first class petty officers. I've always seen them kind of self-destruct and, kind of be within the rights, the right of, of their duties and whatnot. So I've seen them throw people's stuff, over the side, throw people off the quarterdeck, the bridge, and everything like that, because of the position that they hold and the authority that's granted to them by the commanding officer. So, and with my navigator being like the fourth senior guy on the ship, I was kind of like his adopted kid, and I could almost do no wrong. So I had learned from him about yelling and throwing people's stuff over the side and everything. And that was something that I had took and I had put into my toolbox as a junior sailor when people wouldn't necessarily do what I felt was the right thing to do at the moment. So, we ended up in that situation, and Chief Edwards wanted to, write me up, as I stated. But at the end of the day, I believe my learned emotion probably offers the best explanation for my reaction, because simply Chief Edwards, didn't want to help me keep my workstation clean, and he didn't want to, assist me. I think, in a way, when he asked me what was I going to do, that he had challenged my position of authority over my job and my workstation. And so, therefore, that was the cause of my reaction. Thank you, and I hope you enjoyed this assignment.